So more or less we could continue from yesterday. So as the theme was protection, which we are all seeking in this movement, at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, for those they preach, very loud the translation.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
So, for those especially they
Hare
preach
Krishna.
and distribute Srila Prabhupada's books, the element of protection, of course, is especially accurate, because preacher goes out of his confined environment and is encountering an opposition. But there is a preaching, there will always be an opposition. So basically preaching means opposition, but it's not going to be just opposition from those they are afraid or threatened by Krishna consciousness, but it's an opposition also from the material energy. Maya means also mercy. Maya has a testing function. She will test a devotee, she will test especially a preacher. So naturally, the first thing we always notice if somebody goes on Sankirtan is how to overcome the element of fear and anxiety. So naturally, the first question is, where does it come from? As we already said yesterday, fear comes from ignorance, from lack of knowledge. I don't know. Prabhupada said, if a room is in darkness, then we don't know. Automatically fear arises. We don't know who is coming in, we don't know who goes out, we don't know who is there, we don't know who we are, we don't know who the others are. Therefore Prabhupada put this over the Back to Goodhead magazine, that God is light, enlightenment. God brings actually knowledge. Krishna himself, whenever he speaks about fearlessness, very often he combines it with knowledge. Like in this Bhagavad Gita shloka in the 4th chapter, where he's saying being freed from attachment, fear and anger, and being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me. And thus they all attained transcendental love for me. So Krishna is not saying, first you love me. No. He says, first you get freed from attachment, fear and anger, and take refuge in me. How does it look practically? That we go to Navadvip, buy a little gornitai, deities, screw them to some little palanquin and carry them on a head. Then we took refuge. For us in ISKCON it's not so. This is not the process Prabhupada gave. Prabhupada even said we should not bring deities into a Sankirtan vans, in a moving vehicles, as he said that. This is not the place to do that. Prabhupada commented on everything. So our head is also a moving vehicle. So it's not a, I know that in other traditions it's done. And it's certainly, we don't want to comment on this, this is their way to express devotion. In ISKCON it's not done that way, because Prabhupada said one shouldn't do that. So how do we take refuge? How do we actually take really shelter of Krishna to get free from attachment, fear and anger? Prabhupada gave this surrendering process a very practical form. From the first day we walked in the temple, Prabhupada told us, of course, first chant Hare Krishna. As we chant Hare Krishna, many things will happen. We always tell people chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Very often it happens, people start to chant and they realize, I'm not so happy. How is it possible? Actually, I get horrified. How could it happen? Very simple. Because when you get purified, your conscience is raising. You realize, I am eating somebody. Oh! That somebody was alive, I have eaten him. Oh, horrible. If you are in Maya, you don't know these things. You think, oh, there's something walking here, I will eat it. It's, it's food. As you chant Hare Krishna, you realize it's a person. It's walking around and I have eaten it. Oh! And you realize how offensive I am to the environment. Jiva aparat, offensive to other living entities. What to speak of Vaishnava aparat, Guru aparat, so much aparat. The whole material world is one big aparat. Everybody is abusing everybody. Then, in desperateness, you take shelter. Where? At the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, that's ISKCON. And what do you get? Shelter. How does it look like? Shelter in instruction. The spiritual master obviously is not capable to be physically all-pervasive. That he's always standing next to you. That's obviously not possible. Some disciples would like to have it that way. And it's of course easy. In Srila Prabhupada's direct presence, I experienced Srila Prabhupada's presence first time directly in the middle of an airport, one of the biggest airports in Europe, in Germany, Frankfurt Airport. Hundreds of people, hundreds of devotees. First time in my life I experienced fearlessness. I thought, Prabhupada is here, I'm here, everything's okay. There was no more airport, there was nothing of this. And Prabhupada always looked, he had this very, very unique look upon the devotees. We used to hear on Sankirtan always one of his lectures, when he describes how Lord Nrsimhadev, by finishing off Hiranyakashipu, he put out the paw, he put on the head of Prahlad and said to Prahlad, now Prahlad, I am here, don't worry, and everything is okay. We used to actually cry in a Sankirtan by hearing this, because this is Srila Prabhupada. Don't worry, I am here, everything is okay. We don't even know what fear means. We are so full of it all the time that we desperately reached out for all kinds of solutions to mitigate that fear. We assume designations. It's a very popular way how to try to protect yourself from fear. We assume false identities. I am professor, doctor. I'm not fearful. People nowadays even they assume the whole fashion is built on this. Besides it being sexually motivated, actually people think when you're dressed like this, then I am somebody else. Like he in Bengal sometimes has a small skinny boy with a t-shirt, Rambo. He thinks he became stronger by just dressing in a t-shirt. So this is all ideas, childish ideas. If you start to control some people, you think you're more powerful, you become more fearless, bold, shameless. This is all misunderstanding. Prabhupada always, over and over, pointed out, in front of Maya, material energy, we have a good reason to be fearful, because she is so powerful. Nowhere else you realize it better as if you go in Sankirtan. How Maya is moving these people around. If Maya snips their finger, they go like this. She moves over there, they move over there. Sankirtan devotee knows that. He learns very quickly. This is Maya, look what she is doing to them. I remember one day on Sankirtan where we were distributing in a town, there was a clear sky, sunshine, and big black clouds, like chunks. So people were walking when there was sunshine, they were going, I don't need this book, I'm happy. And as soon as cloud covered the sun, it became dark, and they were all just... It was really like this. Watching this was just a little exhibition. Maya can do anything. Maya can give you a new outfit, new body. Usually when we see, a bird jumping here or a fly flying, we don't think that could be me in another form. But quite likely that was me in a previous lifetime. I had this outfit, but now I think, no, I'm human forever. I'm okay. It's called false ego. Everybody thinks, I'm okay. And even material nature, punch him in the nose, he will go, it didn't hurt. In the psychology they call it positive thinking. You have to always go, yes, boom, another smack. No, it didn't hurt, yes. Even you are dying out of the coffin, you will go, great. And then they close the coffin and that's it. And I don't want to comment on Americans, I hope. They are the champions. Okay. So this is childish. It's like a little child when it gets punished by the mother. It's crying in pain and it screams, it doesn't hurt. Because it cannot admit. So Krishna consciousness starts there when we admit, oh yes, I lost it. There is a Maya, she's very powerful. I'm surrendering now. I surrender. And this can be only done in the knowledge. First, of course, there comes some kind of religious sentiment. We all are joining on a sentimental platform. It means through the senses, through the mind, sentimental. But we are expected to raise to a platform of Vijnana, realized knowledge. And that needs a practical process. That's called Sankirtan. Book distribution, absolutely needed. Actually I know even spiritual masters sometimes in ISKCON, I knew spiritual masters, they had a rule. Everybody has to do Sankirtan, at least 2 years. I am not qualified, it doesn't matter. Just go ahead. Nobody is qualified. Who is qualified? Prabhupada was actually educating us like this. Nobody ever thought about this, how to do this, why to do this. And he was already causing us to do that. He sent devotees preaching to a completely new country. They never been there, they didn't speak the language, nothing. They were going, and he just pushed them out of the door. And as they were complaining, he closed the door. He says, go. They did that, they surrendered, and they were totally in ecstasy. Prabhupada said, it's not the result which counts. It's just the attempt, the endeavor to do it. This is the basics on Sankirtan. It's not the material expertise. We shouldn't expect immediately some result. We should just do it. Just put yourself in the right spot, in the right association, and just do it. Then I will experience, first time in life, the symptoms of fearlessness. After all, the street is a dangerous place. But at first time we can be fearless. Therefore Prabhupada, his desire was that this movement creates strong persons. He writes even a letters about this. He said, I want, to one manager he writes, I want you to train up strong persons who can stand for themselves. Certainly there are many people coming to this movement just to survive. Certainly. And it's a fact, it's a very merciful movement. Very quickly you get something to eat, some accommodation, That happens actually quickly. More quickly as in a society actually. In a material society it's not so easy. You can go to some homeless people, institution, and they will for a while maybe give you something, but you cannot stay there forever and become a leader. Probably not. In ISKCON you can become anything. Very quickly. Out of need. We don't have leaders, we don't have anything. So out of need suddenly, So the question is whether we become qualified very fast. How do we become qualified? Prabhupada had this process of learning. It's like bringing somebody to a pool with water and asking him, do you like the water? He goes, oh, it's very nice. Do you know how to swim? No. Then swim. Swim. Of course, there is a safety ring. You don't want to drown that person. So there is a safety ring, but essentially our educational process is like that. Prabhupada wanted us learning while we are doing. Not first learning and then doing. While we are doing. This is Sankirtan. But there is a safety ring, of course. There is a spiritual master, there is Guru, Shastra and Sadhu. There is 3 safety rings. So we are safe. We shouldn't be afraid. But initially, of course, one becomes a little bit worried. Because you find yourself in a position you were never before. You may not even notice that. I remember first time my parents visited me in Krishna consciousness after many years. Because I didn't have so much contact. And they saw me running around as a temple president, managing a temple with 50 devotees. They were just standing there, really, physically just. My mother said, who taught you all this? And I said, Prabhupada. Because as a kami, my parents make a lifelong prediction that I will be a useless, good for nothing. You know. So they couldn't put these 2 pictures together whatsoever. It was for them just, you know, what happened? They became actually quite respectful. So we have to prove ourselves in Krishna consciousness, of course. And anybody can be empowered, no problem. Provided we put ourselves in the right spot and we do the right thing. It's like, you know, you want to get brown in the face and go in the sunshine. You cannot sit in a shadow and get brown. There's a class of people, you know, they sit in a shadow of internet and they analyze. ISKCON this, ISKCON that. ISKCON doesn't work. Click enter. You know? They never get brown, you know, because they're always in a shadow. The only thing they get is the illumination from the screen from the computer. You don't get very enlivened from that. It's like, you know, oh, another one communicates. I also realized it doesn't work. You know, it's, you know, it's not the process Prabhupada gave us. Prabhupada wanted us to be out there, being the street people, outdoor people. You know, yeah. He didn't want to be the indoor people. We are the outdoor people. And all education, knowledge, everything. Prabhupada said, morning lecture, evening lecture, it's enough. 2 hours a day reading, he gave. It's all letters, I can document every word what I'm saying. So he said, and the rest of the time, out, preaching. Contact the conditioned souls. How? I don't know how to do that. Prabhupada gave even such a simple example. He even once said, devotees ask him, how shall we preach? We come to a country, we don't speak one word, nobody knows us, we don't know anybody, what shall we do? Prabhupada said, he gave the story of an Indian servant in the British days, you know, can in minimum time make maximum destruction. So, you know, then the monkey started to jump around and he knocked out the ink, you know, and rip out the papers and turn everything upside down, and the servant came back and he saw, you know, and the monkey jumped out of the window. Same moment his master came back. You look at the office, everything upside down, you know, smashed, ink all over the place. So he got very angry. He looked at the Indian servant reaching out for a stick. So the Indian servant, he didn't know how to speak English actually. So he panicked. He didn't know what to say. So he jumped on the table and he was going, monkey, 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 monkey. So, you know, So the master understood, oh, a monkey was here. Okay, what can we do? So Prabhupada said, that's how you preach. You don't know anything, they don't know anything, you just jump, Hare Krishna, and they will understand, don't worry. It's a very simple preaching seminar. And actually, when you look at the preaching scene from the outside, it's sometimes very healthy to do that. How are we perceived by the people? It's very important. You will find they have a very simple picture of us. First of all, we have to understand every women's society is basically moving on an emotional platform. So they make the decision right away when they look at us. Nice people, bad people. And there will be three kinds of responses, naturally. There will be people who will spontaneously hate us, just by seeing us and go, dangerous, police! You know, and they don't know why. There will be people who don't know really. Yeah, it's nice, but what is it? You know, they are like in between. And there will be people who will immediately love us. This is great, can I do it too? This is nice. None of the three knows what's going on. It's completely spontaneous, emotional decision, right away. It's coming from the heart. So, much later on, even we in Krishna consciousness, we are finding out a rational basis for our activities. We joined on a sentimental platform, as we mentioned before. Fearful. That fear is a very powerful thing. Out of fear, we may assume, even in Krishna consciousness, identities which don't fit us. They may be fitting somebody else, but not us. It's called vimukta manina. We just assign a mental identity to us. And of course, then we are wondering, I'm practicing Krishna consciousness, I'm still fearful. Because I'm false. I am living like somebody who maybe it's okay, this identity for him, but not for me. And then I'm fearful. And I'm trying to twist the whole philosophy and everything around just to explain to myself why I should be as I am. But it doesn't work. There we come to Varna and Ashrama, anyway. So it takes a long time before one actually becomes enough purified to be settled in Krishna consciousness. And as much more we are settled, as more we can preach, as more we can go on Sankirtan, we can distribute. And Sankirtan is the quickest way to find out. Sankirtan is not for hypocrites. You go out on the street, what do you want to say? I am Paramahamsa, take this book. They will go, who? What? You can say, well, I'm Guru, you know. They go, what? Really? I will get the police. You go, I'm a sannyasi, you know. You go, let's stick. It's like Santa Claus, come on. You see, this is called unity. In a Sankirtan, we are united in struggle. And united in our eternal identity as the eternal servant of Krishna. On top of that, we are spreading the same consciousness to others. Ever Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj told Prabhupada, this is good for you and this is good for others. This is the essence of preaching. It's so nice. Sankirtan is good for you, good for others. On top of that, you get purified and you learn. So, this is actually reality. We come to reality. It doesn't require any material identification or qualification. It requires just sincerity. I want to find out who I am. Didn't we learn this when we came to Krishna consciousness? Who is me? That's very important. If I don't know who is me, then I'm a cheater. Then I will cheat constantly others and impose upon them something I think I am. But maybe I am not that. And they will know that. Usually devotees are very clever people. They find out, Prabhu, this is very nice what you are talking, but who is you? Well, now, Shastra. Well, it's very nice, I heard it already, but who is you? Well, me is so... 16 leg beats and 3 archments. You know, you will go, it's very nice, but aren't you a little bit fearful? I am not fearful. Aha. Then why you defend yourself all the time? Defense is just a result of fear. So, as we come to our real identity, eternal servant of Krishna, we actually become protected. That we come under the real protection. Because if we are false, well then Krishna may be tolerating that, but the ultimate protection comes to those who are real. Falsity, Krishna doesn't shelter. Krishna rather exposes sometimes falsity. You know, it takes time. As you say, you can cheat many people for a short time. You can cheat few people for a long time. But you cannot cheat everybody for all the time. So the truth will come out. Sometimes we go, the truth will come out, but I hope it was about me, you know. Oh yes, the truth will come out even about us. And the devotee welcomes such a realization. He goes, finally, this is a wonderful movement. You don't have to cheat. You can be yourself, really yourself, as the eternal servant of Krishna. And people go, I can see you are not perfect. We go, yeah, that's right. Therefore, I am learning. I have a teacher. What are you learning? Who is your teacher? I don't have to learn anything. I'm God. Well, then you're insane. You know? We are admitting, yes, we are learning. Prabhupada said, the neck beats, it's like a dog. People laugh always, you know, this is like the symbol. They are bowing down in front of the Guru. You know, I will never bow down. Oh yeah, you will. Prabhupada said, every evening you will. The man goes home, he bows down to the wife. Prabhupada said, little evening meal, 2 pieces of bread, and then bowing down. Please, little sex life. And Prabhupada makes up, 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 up. This is the kicking of the female ass on your face. You know? Then you are bowing down. And then Prabhupada, he falls over, he sleeps, next day the same thing. That's the essence. So we are going to bow down. And Prabhupada said, you are going to bow down. At least the ultimate dandavat will be once in your lifetime, and that's where you die. Nobody dies standing. You know? I will never bow down. Oh, now you did. Dandavat. Prabhupada, it is simple logic. Do you believe in God? No. Okay. Do you believe in death? Any half-sane person will say, yeah, everybody is dying. Well, Krishna says, that's me. Then you are Hare Krishna. You believe in Krishna. Because Krishna says death, that's me. So of course, devotees of Krishna, they perceive Krishna in a different way. But we should be careful about not being fearful. And to the degree, that's the reason people take a book on a stick. They don't take books so often for intellectual reasons. It's not like you open a book and you go, you know, this is here, Vedanta, you know, in the middle of the shopping street you are joking. Maybe once a week, once a month you meet somebody like this. The rest of the people are just running, shopping. So what do you want to explain to them about Vedanta? You know. They just see, oh, book, oh, how much? Okay, oh man, nice. And then you go. That's all. Total mode of passion. So what do you want? That's not the place to preach, actually. Of course, in India it's different. In India, people are so pious that even in the middle of the insanity, they will not forget going, you know, bowing down or something like that. You know, or in the middle of insanity, they will actually still make some pious gesture or something like this. In the West, it's not like that. People are just running completely absorbed and busy in, Prabhupada said, completely misguided society. Entirely wrongly invested energy. We have to understand that. Then we become convinced. So being freed from fear is very essential, and that comes along with development of knowledge, realized knowledge, vijnana. Then we become, that's the reason people buy book. Because they see, oh, this is somebody else. They had even experience, people being very harsh. You offer them a book and they go, ah! And you go, it's okay, maybe next time. Go to the next one. They get so curious, what is this? I was so obnoxious to him, and he smiled. And they come back, what is it? Why are you not upset? Many Sankirtan with experience that people come back just looking like, this is not normal, what he's doing. What is it? Why you like that? I know even expert Sankirtan devotees, they use even the false ego of the people, they can take a book. Once upon a time I had a distributing one godbrother, Nityananda Prabhu, and in Germany, and a small boy those days, he still looks like a small boy, even he is, they are a bit older nowadays. But I saw it, there was a big, Germany, a typical German, just big town. So, normally I don't go to people like that. And that man was quite agitated seeing us distributing. He was obviously very envious. And so no devotee went to him giving a book. And finally I couldn't believe this. This Nikhilananda, he goes to him and offers him a book. The man was in bliss. Because he could finally say, I don't want this. And Nikhilananda completely cool looked at him and he said, yes, I know. And then this was so quick and so clear, the man got completely shocked. How do you know? And Nikhilananda said, you see, I am distributing books all the time. I know people. I know you will never take a book. The man looked at him and he said, what do you know? And he bought it. So you can go around also like that. So this is all devotees doing things which later on they don't even understand why they are doing this, and understand what they are saying it, because they are obviously under the control of a higher energy. Sankirtan is, I can give you one extreme example of before Srila Prabhupada arrived in Germany. It was second time, 974. We just got a big temple, closed down all the small preaching centers and centralized everything in one big temple. And it was just a few weeks before Prabhupada arrived. So we were desperately painting everything and preparing everything. And then our temple authorities got the typical German idea that for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada, in one day, the whole German yatra will go out and collect for a Mercedes. We will buy a Mercedes for Prabhupada. I don't know why, but it's a typical German idea. So, So that one day, I was not initiated yet, but I was 1.5 years on Sankirtan already, so we knew one town in Germany where you can distribute practically 24 hours a day. So we started 8 o'clock in the morning, and evening we switched to the old section of the town, which was basically just brothel houses and bars, and kept on distributing them. And that day became, all devotees, pujaris, everybody was out. That day became so ecstatic that actually somewhere around 2 o'clock in the morning, I completely forgot my mantra. I didn't know what I was saying anymore. I just told people, he's coming. People were crying. They're going, really? How much do you want? And it wasn't just because they were drunk, but, and I saw devotees doing things on the street. They were dancing with people, just grabbing people and going, spinning around in a circle, and, and it was like, wow. I saw a devotee, his name was Bibhisana. He grew up actually, he was a little bit older as us. He grew up in bars, probably being nourished by alcohol. And, you know, so there was this bus around us. So he just went into the bus, which normally we didn't do, you know. And he sat on this big, you know, bar, you know, ordered one glass of water and distributed Bhagavad Gita straight to the people as they were sitting there drinking, you know, and smoking. It's normally not that kind of environment you distribute Bhagavad Gita. And they all like that. They all just, like this. It's unbelievable. So somewhere around 4 o'clock in the morning, there was nobody on the street anymore, so we met at the car and we drove back to the temple, coming just for the Guru Puja. We were completely insane, and we just jumping. We still had the Sankirtan bags around the neck and Prabhupada came. Anyway, so this is a little bit of a taste of this, that this is something you cannot reproduce artificially. You cannot just say, okay, now I become ecstatic, and you cannot imitate these things. But in principle you can follow. In principle means that this whole movement and preaching is based on blessings, sincerity, being recognized, as we read yesterday in this wonderful letter from Srila Prabhupada. Being recognized. Once you are recognized, Krishna goes, this is my servant. When Krishna makes this judgment, then all other things follow. That doesn't mean we shouldn't learn. That doesn't mean we shouldn't, you know, be practical. Prabhupada said, use your brain. You know, yeah. Sometimes the Prabhupada asked, what is needed to spread Krishna consciousness? And devotees are going, blessings, you know, mercy. Then Prabhupada was going, yes, that's nice. Then when they were finished, they said, little brain would be also nice. It's also required. Yeah. So, but this is all coming, and we know. Not every preacher is a good manager. You know, we know that. We have a practical experience of that. Still, it's a wonderful devotee. He's preaching. You know, and we had wonderful managers, expert managers. They were not so good preachers. They got problems. Because Prabhupada said, first preaching, then management. You know, you can be expert management, you can combine both. That's wonderful. That was Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is a very unique thing. He could actually combine both. You know, he could sit down in Vrindavan with some Babaji, make a bhajan, be in ecstasy. He could go out in America and tell them, you are all getting cheated here. He once said, I'm coming from India, you know, from the poor country, and I have to teach you Americans how not to get cheated. You know. So Prabhupada had this wonderful combination. Therefore some people even defined him as mundane. He knows too much management. Because spiritually should know nothing about this. He should just, you know, be dressed in a potato sack and going Rama, you know, and that's it. No, Prabhupada gave it a very clear form. Like there's a wonderful exchange. Prabhupada is actually defining that we should not separate even between management and preaching. Why this separation? Actually, it's both for Krishna. There was one devotee, of course. Devotees usually have a limits with management. Because management means you encounter the world of dualities. You know, you have to make decisions. You have to make, and not everybody is going to be happy about that. You will get friends and you will get enemies. That's management. Every manager can say, oh yeah, especially the enemies. Oh, I know this. So therefore, we have a whole huge dynasty of retired, frustrated managers. Who by the word management get almost epileptic. No, management. They immediately embark on a train to Vrindavan, you know, to never come back. It's, you know, it's a very unpalatable thing. And even Srila Prabhupada, he tried. He said, I just want to write and translate Bhagavatam. I want to preach and write my books. Please, relieve me from management. It didn't work. It didn't work to the last minute. it didn't work. All the time some problems come in which only Prabhupada could solve. And as a matter of fact, times were easy. Not easy in terms of problems. If somebody thinks those days were less problems as today, he's completely wrong. It was the same amount of problems. Actually, even the same kind of problems. But there was Prabhupada. And he said, no, not good. End of a problem. No more discussion. Finished. No more meeting. Meeting closed. I said, no, not good. This is not good. Finished. Weeks of meetings gone. It was very time-saving and energy-saving. Therefore, we had so much energy to preach. You know, this movement was like a bomb. It just exploded and spread all over the world because Prabhupada said not good. And that was it. So, you know, as a matter of fact, this Prabhupada said became like a mantra. Until Prabhupada was saying, this is too much of this, Prabhupada said. He always says, Prabhupada said, Prabhupada said. I didn't say that. You know, yeah. Devotees were so focused on Prabhupada and so penetrated by his personality that even by speaking about him, they start to behave like him. Like, you know, devotees were giving lectures quoting Prabhupada so intensely that they start to go. Because Prabhupada had hair, or he had a hair out of the ears. And they were going, yes, Prabhupada said, you know. It was just like completely just, where they went, there was the image of Prabhupada. And you couldn't get anything done without saying Prabhupada said it, out of question. Nowadays we hear sometimes, oh, Professor Doctor said, and he said, and they said, and they said, and we go, oh, they say it. You know, who is them, who is he, who is, you know, we don't even know sometimes. That's the material world. The material world, people go in a bookshop, they buy a book, and they think, this is really good. And they don't even find out who wrote this. They go, oh, you heard this? You read this book from the, you know, Mr. Schrader? Schrader? Oh, Schrader. You don't know Schrader? Who is you? If anybody knows Schrader? Oh, Schrader. Then they found out he was a psychopathic homosexual. So, please, I'm not discriminating anybody. But this is what Prabhupada was attacking. He was absolutely disagreeing. He was absolutely disagreeing. He even disagreed so much that actually, when an Indian was brought to him here in India, obviously, you know, Vedantist, you know, somebody who just Prabhupada asked, you can hear on the tape, devotees go, Prabhupada, this is a very, very great Vaishnava here, you know, Vaishnava scholar. And Prabhupada said, oh, you know Bhagavad Gita? And the man immediately starts, oh, very nice. So, do you know the author of Bhagavad Gita? Who wrote that book? Who spoke that book? And the man goes, oh yes, this was spoken by Krishna, the unmanifested Brahman. A total Mayavadi definition. You can hear even on the tape how the word is just, it's a Mayavadi. Prabhupada immediately exposed it. And he said, so how can you quote a book from somebody you don't know? But it's from Krishna. Well, if you don't know Krishna, you may know the name, but you still don't know who it is. How can you quote that book? So even there, Prabhupada said, it's all personal. We don't want to know what is spoken. We want to know who is speaking. And this you learn also in Sankirtan. Because there will be revealed not what is distributed, but who is distributing. You will be exposed. And this is nice. This is exactly what we came here for. This is what actually we want. Because once you know who you are, life gets easy. You don't have to play anything, you don't have to pretend anything, you don't have to be afraid of anything. It's so nice. And then you can preach, people will like it. Even a simple preaching, they will very much appreciate. You know, I remember we used to have one devotee named Urangama in Germany. He was a very simple person, really simple. He hardly was reading anything, he just liked prasadam and Krishna book. That was two things he liked. So, and as usually everybody went on Sankirtan, so he was also going on Sankirtan. So once we distributed on a Frankfurt book fair, it's a huge book fair, the biggest in Europe. And in front of the fair, in front of these grounds, there's a huge parking lots where all people park the car and they go inside. So that's where we were with our Sankirtan vans. We were even sleeping in the vans there, just not to miss anybody, you know. So you had all kinds of celebrities coming up who wrote big books, you know, they had their own exhibition, you know, and this. So there was one German man, those days very famous. He was actually a mountain climber. And he wrote books about mountains, and he made movies about mountains. He was quite an old man already. Everybody knew him. So I was just packing my books in a car, and I saw suddenly this man coming out of his car, heading for the entrance door. But I was too late. You know, yeah. There was, what was his name? Louis Trenker. Anyway, so, you know, so the Louis came out of the car, and I just picked my book, and I saw suddenly Shriman Urangama running. He was on the other side of the parking lot. And he was going, "Hey, Louis!" And I was going, "Oh no, here comes our PR department, you know, oh no." And he runs through the whole parking lot, "Louis, wait!" And he just hit him straight on with the Bhagavad Gita. He said, "Louis!" Because he was a mountain climber. He said, "You know Himalaya? This is a book about Himalaya." I was like, "Oh no, what a mantra, you know." But to my amazement, the man became completely ecstatic. He was going, "Oh yeah, you know, I never was in Himalaya." He was going, "Oh, you have to read this book," you know. So he bought the book instantly, completely in ecstasy. And then he just was running towards the entrance door. He wasn't even walking, he was running. And there was all kinds of newspaper reporters hanging around, catching up on this kind of people, you know. So they were immediately making photos, you know. So in the newspaper there appeared a photo of Mr. Louis Trenker waving the Bhagavad Gita going, I'm not saying this is the ultimate way to distribute books, but it once again illustrates that it's the inspiration, it's the life of a devotee. As Bhaktisiddhanta said, preaching must be alive. A dead stone cannot preach. So, what makes us dead? What makes us dead is a mental platform, sensual platform. It makes you dead. Did you ever notice when people really become lusty, they become very quiet? They are so lusty, they don't say anything. You know, they just go, "Where's the woman? Where's the woman?" You see? That's how. This is the mind and the lust. Did you ever saw a happy professor, PhD? Really? No, it's really, isn't it? They all look like shriveled old bags. I am, and therefore I sink. I sink, and therefore I am. You know, the mind can completely finish you up. It makes you insane. Actually, just by thinking, really pure thinking, you can become insane. Because the mind is a world of dualities. Sankalpa and Vikalpa. He just accepts, rejects, accepts, rejects. He plays a mental ping pong with you. So you go. And then at the end you are just, I don't know. Well, a mental person never knows. Because he thinks, oh, it could be like that, but it also could be like that. Nowadays it became dangerous to know. People get upset. You know, this is not possible. You cannot say Krishna said. There must be some anti-Krishna, something opposite. Something could be also different, you know. Everything is two sides. You cannot just present one side. It's a proof you are wrong. You are fanatic. Fanatic, you think this is right? Could be also wrong. I don't know. You know, up is down, down is up. I don't know. I mean, no. How do you know it's up? It could be also down. This is madness. And you know, and we don't have to go too far to hear this kind of philosophy. And Sankirtan will very easily train you to get rid of this, because you have to make a decision. Am I going to distribute the book or not? You cannot say, well, maybe, not, let's try, see. Then you are finished. You are finished. People will sweep the floor with you. Like, you know, not possible. You know, Ekeha Burinandana. This means the intelligence is one focus, one point, like this. This is the strength of this movement. This is the strength of being brahmachari. It's simple and clear. Not maybe, it could be, should be, I think, I believe. Prabhupada said, when you start like this, you can stop all. You don't have to, we are not interested. And Prabhupada was very unpolite, actually. Even big professors were going, I think, in my opinion, Prabhupada was going, and immediately a Shastri quote, finished. The man was, not very polite, you know, to do such a thing. I mean, you listen to Prabhupada's preaching, it's full of it. Prabhupada was not discussing anything, like, you know, what are you saying, is it alright? And sometimes he said it, but only to a person he was sure that person would go, yes, it's alright. But otherwise, if someone was going, well, it could be awesome. Again, it can boom. This is the same principle in Sankirtan. We don't go out there discussing. The street is not a place you go and going, excuse me, please, you have to believe that maybe, you know, it could be like, Krishna is nice, isn't he nice? You know, it's not our level at all. We present Krishna, it's like this, and take it or leave it. Not fanatically, but it just goes like this. And some people will definitely take it. Therefore Prabhupada said, there is no even need to turn to some, what he called fashionable slogans. Sometimes we have this kind of hysterical attempt to make preaching very fashionable. You know, we have to grow beard, or, you know, dress up like this, or do like this, or do like that, and speak like this, because they will like it. Yeah, of course, when you sell Bhagavad Gita as a cookbook, probably it's more popular. But, you know, it's a cheating, right? Or you disguise yourself in all kinds of ways. I remember once in Sankirtan, we got this new fashion from America. Because we had lots of legal problems in Germany. So devotees were thinking, let's do it like they do in America. Every devotee had a wig, you know, yeah? That was really a time in America, they were all distributing with wigs. So our Sankirtan leader, we had a Sankirtan who was a very eccentric person. So he said, Prabhus, next weekend we all go in a shopping house and buy all wigs. So we just went, you know, yeah. Somebody know wig? Huh? Where are you from? So, anyway, so, you know, so you cannot imagine the next Monday. We had also quite some solid Mataji party Sankirtan. The Matajis were sitting in their vans. They could hardly leave the temple. They were laughing so much. Because out of the temple emerged a whole crew of 40 brahmacharis with the most foul haircuts. One looked like Elvis Presley and one looked silver, you know. Unbelievable. And what a job it was. You know, we had to wash it, and every Sunday feast we had to comb, you know, put it on again, and it was hot, and you know, and when the wind blows, you know, normal hair goes like this, but the wig goes like this, you know, that's it. So you had to always look in a shopping window, oh. And people look at us like, problem with the hair, isn't it? You know? Okay. This whole joke lasted like 1 month, and then we all split in the garbage bag and just went out normally again. Lots of money was spent for this. So, So this is one of these examples how you can go wrong with fashionable things, you know, and also saying things to people which are absurd, which is not needed to say. You know, like I said, you cannot say Srimad Bhagavatam as a cookbook, it's not needed. You know, you can tell things in a much easier way. Maybe not directly in that sense that you go into transcendental knowledge and you get purified and the love of Godhead, and they go, what is this? Yeah, no, some easy way, something they can actually digest. So, and above all, the biggest thing why we are selling on the street is us. People buy you. Because the same book in the hands of another devotee who is in Maya it's not going to be sold. They buy you. And they know very well. Even they are completely in Maya, out of their Maya position, they can still judge quite well if you are in Maya. Of course, because they are expert in Maya. They know what lust is, they know what envy is, they know what anger is. So when you are like this, they go, well, you know, what's so special about you? You are the same like me. You know, what are you want to come to teach me here? Therefore, Sankirtan is very self-revealing. It's like having a mirror in front of you, or a thermometer, you know, you can measure your temperature. Oh, fever. I thought I'm enthusiastic, but actually I'm passionate. There's a difference, you know. Things like that. So it's a wonderful training. Nobody should miss it. To actually go on Sankirtan, distribute Prabhupada's books, have some fun. Brahmachari should have fun as much as possible before they get married. And if you don't get married, great, keep on going if you can. Better to be decent grihastha as a miserable brahmachari. But, you know, it's individual. That cannot be preached as a rule. It's individual. And the grihasthas, don't worry, there is still some light at the end of the tunnel. It's called Sankirtan. Especially when you were polluted by the Sankirtan ecstasy during the brahmachari days, you will never forget it. You will never forget, impossible. Even you try, you will not. If you ever really want to be a full-time sense enjoyer again, don't go on Sankirtan. Don't do that. The mercy is so intense, it's so that you will never forget. Even you try. I knew even one devotee, he wanted to become a kami. So he left the Sankirtan then. He went to his old flat. He bought himself cigars. He never smoked in his life. You know. And he had one problem. We knew where he is. So we just drove with the Sankirtan van there, full of brahmacharis. You know. Ring the bell. There was a cigar smoke, you know, wow. So I walked in, and those days preaching was very simple. How to save a gallbladder. So we just went in and saying, you are crazy! What are you doing here? And he was like, I am a kami, I'm not devotee anymore. I told him, you are a joke. You're not even a kami, you don't even know how to do that. Get out! And I just dragged him physically down the stairs, threw him in a Sankirtan bed. And there was the other brahmacharis there going, he stinks after cigarettes. You know, and the next day he distributed again his 30 books or whatever, and then, you know, that was it. That was the end of the story. He never did it again. You know, this was the simple days. Nowadays it's more complicated. Nowadays people go out and they start the new movements, the three regulative movement, the principle movement, you know, or the transcendental cigar movement, or something like this. You know, they put it on internet, web page, you know, transcendental cigar movement. They are very, you know, this is much more complicated. Previous it was very simple. He's in Maya and that's it. That's, you know, what's the problem? You know, brahmachari life was really simple, I tell you. You know, you always got this, you know, Bhakta Joe got a letter, you know, in a pink envelope, sweet smelling. Next day he was gone. Of course, it was from the old girlfriend. you know, we were all brahmacharis, no, really. Yeah, she got him, the witch. Yeah. We were all 18 years old, you know. Within 1 week he was back. You know, just completely just, you know, one ear ripped off almost. I said, Prabhus, you were right. She was a witch. You know, then he ate 2 kilos of halwa and that was it. End of the problem. So, you know, it was more the simple days. Nowadays everything is rather very complex. People have to explain to them even the simplest nonsense they are doing in a very complicated way. Thanks to the media, to the technological development, you know. Prabhupada said even fax is Maya. He said, simply for making gossip. Anyway, we can use everything in Krishna's service, of course. But, you know, but it can be also misused. So, anyway. So Sankirtan is teaching us something very wonderful. To be simple. And to see things in a simple, clear and realistic way. It's the best seminar, it's the best school, it's the best training for our future and for our lifetime to be spent in Krishna consciousness. Okay, I just don't want to prolong this too much. There's some questions. We have some mic around? Mic? Oh, yeah, one mic. Okay, at least one mic. There's some questions or comments, please.
Go out on Sankirtan, sometimes there's opposition, right? And just a little quick Sankirtan story. And the devotee was in one of the pubs at Christmas, and he noticed that everyone in the pub was foreign, you know, wasn't English, you know. And he wasn't very good at languages. And there was this Swedish person, a Swedish lady, and she said, "Oh, who are you?" He said, "Krishnas, you know." "Hare Krishnas." "Oh, I hate Hare Krishnas." Like really forceful, you know. And the devotee said, "No, it's not Hare Krishna, it's Hare Krishna." And she said, "Hare Krishna, no, it's Krishna, 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 Krishna." Almost quite right, almost not quite right. No, and it's Hari, 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 Hari. And then, no, it's not quite like that. It's Hari Rama. Yes, Rama. And then she copped on then. And she got really angry. And it's very nice, thank you.
I was in Sweden for 12 years, so I can understand. The lady was Swedish. It's amazing she said something at all. Somebody else? Some question or something like that? Okay.
You mentioned before the story about that someone who said, "Oh, this book is about Himalayas." Later on, you mentioned we shouldn't misguide people too much. Say this is cookbook.
Yeah.
What is the boundary on that? Because we can't be completely honest.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the boundary of what you say to people is give you a few examples, like which Prabhupada actually liked. We had one top book distributor in ISKCON, absolute top. He was going in America. He knew the day when the soldiers get paid, the professional soldiers. So he was standing there in front of the barracks, distributing Bhagavad Gitas with the mantra, even to one high-ranking officer. He said, "This is a book about a soldier." He didn't want to fight. By reading that book, he was ready to fight. So the soldiers were singing. It was quite good. It's very clear, it's truth, but it's not, of course, manual how to make soldiers to fight, in general. But it's true. Yeah. Somebody will say, this is a book, how to, usually devotees very often use this inner peace and, and harmony and, whatever you pick up, when you move in a particular environment, you will find out what people really are about. Very rarely in the West you could really come straight forward with God and all this, and not really, not in the countries I know. So you pick something they are interested in. And then there are extreme examples of devotees, which nowadays we don't have so many of them. But I'm coming from a generation of Sankirtan devotees, very eccentric, very eccentric. It was not just in Germany. We had, if I would tell you things, you cannot copy that, because you have to be really inspired. Like we had there was one devotee, I think he's still somewhere around, his name was Mrigupari from Holland. He was originally, as a kami, he was an actor, in a theatre. And Krishna really used all this on Sankirtan. He was unbelievable. Here in Mayapur, or wherever there was a festival, they had Mriguparis in the kirtan. Everybody was running towards the kirtan, because he did something unpredictable. Like he could, during the kirtan, collect the dust from the lotus feet of all the Vaishnavas, bake it into bricks, and unload it on the altar in front of the deities, in such a visual way that you saw this is really happening, He was distributing the same way. I was in a car with him. 1 week he came to Germany. We were relatively very new on Sankirtan, so I was thinking, what is this? He was so fired up. Even in the morning, we were sitting in a car, he was eating. And we just heard a lecture from Prabhupada how actually all the mundane literature is just for crowds, and actually everybody should have a book. Yeah. So without warning, he was still eating in a car. We had this kind of old German cars, you open a window like this. So he opened the window, there was early in the morning a lady going shopping. And out of the window he goes, you have the book? The lady stops and goes, what book? And then he was going like this, in a bag, so I can reach over immediately a Bhagavatam. So he grabbed the Bhagavatam, put it straight in the lady's nose, he said, this book? And there he was going, oh, okay, yeah, how much is it? And she bought it. And then he was already out. Within a few seconds he forgot the eating and he just packed his books and he was purely inspirational. He was already heading for the next one. You have the book? You have the book? And the person was going, no. Here's the book. And he was so like, what's going on? There's a book. And it was the whole day like this. He didn't say any mantra, nothing. I found him in front of a shopping house. People go out, with his shopping bags. He almost jumped on them, looking in their bags. He said, where's the book? People were going, especially Germans, they are easy to program like this. So they were going, I have no book. He was going, he must have a book. And everybody has a book here. And people are going, oh yeah, okay, how much? Excuse me, yeah. Then he developed it further. In the afternoon I found him holding one gentleman on the street, like very confidential like this, around the shoulder. He said, you see the man over there? He has 3 books. And I was going, oh. He was so in it that when he came, he always came too late to the car in the evening. We were always sitting in the car and and he came too late. He opened the door of the car, looked at me and said, you have a book? And I said, come on, let's go now. Next day it was something else, Next day he had something else going on, Like I saw him in front of the train station, huge train station. A man gets out of the car, typical puffed up German again, and he just, and then he kind of buys the book and he gives him a big bill to change. This is something you should be very careful to do. He takes the bill like this, and go slowly on her knees in front of him down. Looking into his eyes, not saying one word. And then, people walk around and they see, there's a man kneeling in front of the other like this. And the man was going, okay, just keep it, just keep it. And he was going, thank you. And up again, So every day he had something else going on. This is of course something you cannot spontaneously imitate. It's again belongs to inspiration. But of course a new devotee, he needs some guidelines. So you could turn actually even better is you ask Vijay Prabhu about this. He is also very, very mature in his presentation, his mantras and in all this. But ultimately it's keep it simple. And don't change it. In the beginning, don't change it. Only these kind of eccentrics, they just draw inspiration directly from Krishna, so they can change mantra every 5 minutes. For a new devotee, better you say the same thing. And if they don't buy it, don't worry. It's not wrong, nothing wrong with what you are saying. It's more like how you are saying it. So say it again. Sometimes people even hear what you are saying, they don't respond, they are so covered. So say it again. Same thing. And and then say the same thing. You don't, you think this is stupid. No, they are so covered. They can hear it 5 times, they will not understand. I mean, people can become so covered on the street. I remember one day, I was in a big shopping street in one German city, and people were so covered, they didn't even respond when I hold up the book. I was just going, hello, and then just tons of them, hundreds of people, like a stream, just like robots. And then I was saying, okay, I have to be more enthusiastic, hello, no response. And I was saying, okay, hello, and they were just, there was no way to get in. I didn't know what to do. I went to the car and was thinking, oh, what do I do? And then I saw there was a little bell we had standing there in a car for offering. So I took the bell, went into the shopping store going, and I gave him a book. And actually he bought it. Then I turned around and again another one. Nobody asked about the bell or why I'm ringing or nothing. They were so covered, they just heard a sound, and then I could actually reach them. This is what Maya can do to you. Even worse. In Germany there are just huge towns. I don't want to mention the names, you don't know anything. But big towns with huge shopping streets. There was one shopping street that was coming from a main train station, and like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it's like a human, stream just rolling down the hill, all. So it's like stampede, like sheep or buffaloes just, all at once, and you stand there with a book, and they just roll over you. Sometimes the book disappears, It's such a passion behind the whole thing that just roll down the hill. So what do you do, So in these situations, I saw devotees doing things because we were stuck in the town, we couldn't move on. So, I saw one devotee walking around going, fire! Fire! People go, no, what the... Nobody ever asked where the fire is or what's going on. Just to get them out of that thing, Or even worse, I saw one devotee, he didn't know anything else to do as to throw himself on the floor, make Dandava, just boom. People go down there, and as soon as he stopped, he jumped up and was going, hello! You have to be pretty young and pretty elastic for that. So, this is the madness you encounter when you go in Sankirtan. So regarding the mantras, keep it simple. Prabhupada, actually, it's amazing. Prabhupada never gave a mantra for distribution. He just gave the principal mantra. The principal mantra is, my dear sir, you are so great, you are so knowledgeable, you are so beautiful, you are so powerful. Please, forget all this for a few seconds and take the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is like the principle of the Master, which means you don't upset them in their identities, but by humility you go around that. That's the only way to distribute. With absolutely detached attitude, this means you don't invest your own ego into that, or no expectations, nothing. You are the servant. You are simply Prabhupada called it a postman. You simply deliver the mail. Sometimes they kick the postman, sometimes they give him extra money because they are happy. That doesn't matter. He's a postman. In this way one keeps oneself protected.
You never feel depressed?
Depressed? Oh yeah, you feel anything on Sankirtan.
Why you do it when you feel depressed?
You just keep on going in Hare Krishna. You can use even this for distribution. You can go to people and go, you know, I want a book, I want a Why not? Major Singh, he takes a book. I had a man like this. He said, and what about if I don't take the book? Then I will cry. He started to laugh and bought it. But you know, the point is, these things come to every devotee, but we don't have to take them seriously. I am not depressed. I'm a soul, you know. I'm not this body. But I feel the body, of course. I'm not a robot. So when I feel depression, then okay, well, I chant Hare Krishna. Then what? One should not surrender to it. Feeling is there, but one should not surrender to it. Some devotees, they are depressed, they go and they eat. You know, that doesn't really always solve the problem. Or they just go to sleep. That's the only cheap intoxication to a devotee. You know, sleep. Forget the world. Just close the sleeping bag all the way up to just so finished, over. Then you wake up, it's even worse. So this is not the way to solve problems. Just chant Hare Krishna always and pray, and if you are actually sufficiently inspired, you feel depression, you feel even anger, you feel all these things. Sometimes people say the concept, the transcendental means you don't feel anything. That's a big mistake. That's Mayavadi. Transcendental means I don't feel anything. I can mistreat anybody, and you know, and I can. Remembers me my early brahmachari days, you know, when I joined, our brahmacharya ashram was in the top of the under the roof, you know, just where you keep the storage room, actually. So right away in the morning, somebody stepped on you on the way to shower, you know. That was why he's waking up. You know, the answer was always the same. Come on, Prabhu, we are not this body. You know, it's not exactly our philosophy, you know. Then I got sick on Sankirtan many times. They told me, come on, you're not sick, you're not this body. I was going, so it's all illusion. You know, it's not exactly our philosophy either. I just had a lecture from Prabhupada. He's saying, like, if somebody who is very dear to a devotee dies, devotee will cry. But the difference between devotee and a kami is that the devotee knows it's temporary. You see, he doesn't get wrapped into the whole thing, simply desperately thinking this is it. No, he knows it happens. But only a madman is laughing at a funeral. You must be crazy. This is a madman. It's natural, it's sad. In the West, we are trained up to, we tend to think that simple means primitive. Oh, that's simple. That's primitive. No, simple can be genius. Simple can be like mathematicians, they strive for a simple formula which says it all. You know, this is genius. Yeah? So Prabhupada gave us simple formulas how to conduct Krishna consciousness. Very powerful, very effective, with a very powerful result. So we don't get lost, you know. But somehow we have this tendency to turn it back again, to make it the simple very complex. And this is very intellectual, it's very advanced. Why? Prabhupada was so genius, sometimes devotees would bring all kinds of complicated things. And Prabhupada always draw the essence from that. You know, just the essence. Okay. Yeah, this person always feels like that he is kind of depressed and he tends to be a little bit non-active. Prabhupada said he's lazy, he's Shudra. That's it. Or devotees are going, the scientists are researching and researching. Are they like something like Jnanis? Prabhupada said, no, they're all Shudras. Because they simply serve the senses of others with their research. Yes, finished. Simple. I mean, I couldn't believe it when I joined this movement, hearing these things. I was saying, that's a bit oversimplified, but it's truth, that's all. That's what you want. Sometimes the devotees came to Prabhupada, such a complex problem, and Prabhupada was like, it's okay, it's okay. Prabhupada, I feel that I think that I feel, that I want, that I think, that maybe I feel. Prabhupada. Prabhupada was going, it's okay, just chant Hare Krishna. Give him prasadam. And he actually really came out of that room, you had no problem. You're going, yeah, it was good prasadam, great. Great, Hare Krishna. Mm-hmm.
Yesterday one devotee was asking about how to become mature Sankirtan.
Mature.
Could you comment on that?
Maturity comes by repeated practice. Guarantee. Any Sankirtan devotee who you see is going on and on and on and on, he becomes mature. But of course, he will realize that he has to keep the right association, he has to keep the right sadhana, he has to, keep the right lifestyle to be able to maintain this service. That makes him mature. That doesn't mean, once again, to the point before, that doesn't mean he becomes more complex and more complicated. Not at all. I could even point out some of my older godbrothers, which I definitely consider very mature, and they don't do anything what they didn't do 20 years ago or 30 years ago. They do the same thing, but they just do it over and over again with a deeper realization, steadiness. Steadiness is the proof of maturity. That's, that you can see, oh, this person is so. It's a proof of maturity and sincerity. And that's all what it counts. Just stay around. Don't change anything. Don't invent anything. Just doing the same thing again. Of course, Maya comes and goes, same thing again, right? When you joined the temple, you were going, prasadam. I remember still how it was when I first time tasted prasadam. I didn't know what it is. So they told me, do you want prasadam? And I said, what is it? It's something to eat. Oh. And I was strange, from a home, you don't take from strangers. I was kind of shy boy. And I was like, and I was going, no, thank you, I have already eaten. But actually I was hungry, So they were going to look at me and said, "You have to take prasadam." So Germany, 1972. You have to take prasadam. Okay. And they brought prasadam. You have no idea, those days prasadam was served in buckets. It was not plates, it was buckets. Every devotee had they had different bowls, for cooking. And they fit different sizes together, and that was his eating sink, And they wrote like a name on it, or they scratched name on it. And everybody had such a pile of these things. And then they spread them out. It was like a Janmashtami offering, And that was the prasadam. Unbelievable. Nowadays nobody knows how to take prasadam. Every feast was like, changing bodies, It was like we were really leaving bodies. And then of course I remember I tasted first time, it was a strawberry halwa. It was like, I felt it in the fingertips going, I was going, what is this? And I'm going, this is halwa. And I ate it all. And I ate more. And the next Sunday feast I was there, just the smell, was like, So, we used to eat as brahmacharis, we used to eat so much prasadam we couldn't breathe. The stomach just pressed the lungs together. And you were just... After every Sunday feast, you couldn't chant, you couldn't breathe, nothing. You were just lying on a top floor, just... Took me until Wednesday to digest it. And we still stole things, hiding in the boxes from the Sunday feast and hiding in the Sankirtan vans, our private supplies, They're like depression. There was mentioned depression. When you're depressed, you had your private, hidden corner of the Sankirtan, and then you had your box with gulab jamuns. But a few years down the line, you think, oh, prasadam, okay. Who cooked that? Just imagine, he slammed a gulab jamun into the sabji, it's really too much, the serving here, Then you look at the devotees. I remember first time I saw devotees, they looked to me like from another planet. They were all big pink babies going, Haribo. And I was just, wow, what a people, I asked them, how long you actually practicing Krishna consciousness? And those days I joined, it was like, Krishna consciousness was 1 year in Germany. So they were all like 1.5 year devotees. But they were all just, bum, 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 And I was thinking, wow, I have these people, it's unbelievable. I can never become like this. And I was like, they're going, say something. And I was going, When they saw me, those days preaching was very straight, They look at me and I was kind of shy. They were going, I was going, oh, this is too much. The chief preacher, he came to me. I had a long hair up to here like this. So on Sunday feast, he came to me and he just suddenly grabbed my hair. And he was going, this would be the right haircut for you. I was going, oh, he grabbed my hair. And then when I was going, okay, I have to go home. And they was going, where home? Why are you going? Why are you going? And actually I was sort of living alone, I was not with my parents or someone. So they were going, why are you going? Why didn't you stay here? And I was going, well, I didn't know actually what to do. I absolutely had no agenda in my life. But I was saying, well, I will come again, bye-bye. And then one devotee got up and he said, he's going home to Mama. Oh boy, this was really heavy for the first ego, But I came back again. 2, 3, 4 times, and then I just stayed.
Hare Krishna.
Anyway. walking, we are over time. So, thank you for listening, and thank you for joining. And tomorrow is supposed to be as in the same time, the day after it's moved to this time, you know, to 12, 12:15. Thank you very much for listening and being here.